Amazing. So we have a surprise guest speaker up next. We have Bryan Reeves. He is a life and relationship coach. He's an author of Love Her or Choose Her Every Day. And today we're going to talk about choose her every day or leave her. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. And ironically, he's actually going to be reading out of his book today. And so we're going to be talking about not having a shared purpose in a relationship, and without having that shared purpose, how relationships can actually fail, and then clarifying why we want relationships in the first place. So Bryan, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Emergence Festival.
Thank you, Chelsea, for the invitation. I feel like we got to get some movement first. I know y'all have been kind of, as I'm watching, I've tuned in for the last 10 minutes, and that's my sense. And I'm seeing some Jessicas like, So if I may lead for just a minute or two to get some movement in our bodies, y'all up for that? So if you can, stand up. Stand up. I guess I'm a little far from the mic. Hopefully you can still hear me. You can still hear me okay? Yeah, more or less. So just gonna invite you to just bounce on your feet a little bit, not leaving your feet aren't leaving the floor, just kind of bouncing a little bit. Kind of let your wrists, your hands dance a little bit, bring a little bounce to the body. Yeah, and who is that? Kayla's ahead of the game. Kayla, you got us. We're gonna do a little bit of twisting too, just kind of letting your arms twist on your body a little bit. Yeah, just bring a little love twist to the body. Whew. Kind of let your breath quicken a little bit. You kind of keep shaking. Again, come back and bounce. Maybe quicken the shake of your wrist a little bit while you're still bouncing. Kind of moving some lymph, get the lymph flowing. Yeah, and if your body wants to bounce a little bit more, let it bounce a little bit more. I'm just kind of setting the baseline. If you want to move, if you want to dance, put on some music, some tunes, whatever, go for it. Okay, now we're gonna start, just do some claps on the body. I'm gonna clap down the arms, just kind of clap on the chest, just kind of giving some love to the torso, come to the sides. Oh, get those kidneys, some claps on the kidneys, smack the booty a little bit. I don't know if your booty hasn't been smacked in a few hours, man. Gotta smack that booty at least every few hours. Yeah, get the legs, come on down. Yeah, oh, that's so nice. Top of the feet. Oh, and now on your way back up, just massage yourself on the way back up. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's really nice. Oh yeah, massage, this little squeeze. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Oh, especially the shoulders. Oh, my shoulders love that. Kind of finish with a little embrace, a little self-squeeze, self-embrace. Now just wipe. I'm gonna wipe. Just wipe down the body. Whew. A little flush, a little energy flush. Okay. Yeah, if you notice your body needs any little extra love, like a forward bend or something, go ahead and offer that to yourself. And when you're ready, come back to a cozy spot and we'll settle in. Whose body appreciated that? Yeah. Yeah, likewise. So, well, I am, everyone's hearing me okay? Just make, we're doing some mic. Okay, great. So my name is Bryan Reeves, Bryan with a Y, Reeves, and I'm really honored to be here again today. Chelsea, thank you for the invitation. I'm going to do this book, Choose Her Every Day or Leave Her. I'm going to do a reading from this shortly on a passage titled Without a Shared Purpose, Your Relationship Will Fail. And I'll bring you into my personal story a bit through that. And then we're going to have my hope is that for the last 30 minutes or so, we're going to have a conversation, a dialogue, whether that's questions or shares or your insights. I just want to take a moment to introduce myself, give you a little bit of perspective. Who is this dude? Where am I coming from? I am 46 years exquisitely aged. I'm a former United States Air Force officer. I got out of the military at 26 years old, and I was completely disconnected from my body. Couldn't laugh, couldn't cry, couldn't really feel anything. And from that place, I attempted to do intimate relationship with a woman. In my case, it was with women. How do y'all think that went? No, a lot of shade. It was a disaster. That's right. Narisa, it was a disaster. So that was 20 years ago. And I pretty much proceeded to make an utter mess of intimate relationship I was already 10 years into that practice, and I would continue it for, let's say, another 10 to 15 years of just making an utter mess of love despite my best intentions, always having my best intentions. Anyone identifying as a man in the space, can you identify with that? Great intentions, awful execution, terrible outcome. Yep, I see some celebrating. Craig is like, that's me all the way, man. Yeah.
I'm a journeyman at it.
Michael, yep, you know what I'm talking about. Well, that was my story as well. And basically at 36 years old, at the end of another implosion, just spectacular catastrophe, the end of a 5-year, very painful relationship, I resolved to not suck at relationship for the rest of my life. Like I cannot believe that I am destined to suck at this for the rest of my life. And that set me on quite a journey. And this book, I've been working with couples now for since 2013. So I'm a relationship coach. I'm now really focusing more and more on working with men. I'm leading a year-long men's program right now. We're in the midst of it. It's so beautiful to see the heart of men. We men are actually really sensitive. You know, that's the thing that I love about men. We actually are really sensitive. We're just in so many cases so armored up around our sensitivity because it was never safe as boys and teenagers. And so I love working with men more and more to help us really step into our mature and beautiful manhood that the world so desperately needs today. So how y'all doing? Just checking in really quick. Everybody good? Is this resonating? Is this landing? Yeah. Okay. A million more things I could say about all that, but let's get to it. I want to do a reading. And this is about purpose. And my invitation to you is as I'm reading through this, and we'll talk about this after. In fact, at the end of this reading is an invitation to reflect on, well, what is my purpose for wanting to be in relationship, whether you're in one now or want to be one in the future. And the title of this again is Without a Shared Purpose, Your Relationship Will Fail. Ready? For nearly 3 decades, choosing me as your boyfriend was like strapping yourself into a faulty emotional roller coaster whose wheels would scream and spark before jumping the tracks, offing us both towards an awful demise. Sure, there was always that initial promising climb towards a giddy peak of excitement, but what always inevitably followed was that screaming plunge into undulating whiplash twists and turns of confusion, chaos, and anger, capped off by a final plummet into heart-crushing disappointment. What I'm saying is I never made for a very good boyfriend. Though I never knew why or even began taking any responsibility for until my late 30s. And now, today, I'm engaged, 5 years into the relationship I always dreamed possible. The one that keeps proving the old adage, when you finally find the right person, it finally makes sense why all those before never worked out. Now, there's surely truth to that, but perhaps it's equally true, and maybe more so, that I finally became the right person, a man who could actually pull this relationship thing off. Sylvie is the name of my partner. She is a brilliant, sexy, beautiful, talented, scrumptiously divine woman. Any man would be a right fool to let her go. But she's also a reflection of the man that I have had to become and am still becoming. If I was ever going to make relationship with such a woman, or any woman, truly thrive, rather than merely keep driving love off the rails into excruciating oblivion. And I only know this because about 18 months into our relationship, I hit a wall. Even though we had a beautiful connection and so many more things were right about our relationship than wrong with it, we had nonetheless been clashing over a cultural divide that even one of the most brilliant therapists in the world told us in a private session, it is not likely to ever go away. And after a little over a year together, that clash seemed to hit cataclysm status, and I found myself in painfully familiar territory. I feared the roller coaster was about to jump the tracks again. Now, I was sure I didn't want to lose this extraordinary woman I'd waited a lifetime for, so I hired my own coach, a man that I knew would understand both my culture and my dilemma, a man I could therefore trust to help me navigate this scary situation with more clarity and intention. And in our first session, he asked me a question that caused a seismic shift in my experiencing of relationship. Bryan, what is the purpose of your relationship? Is it to have kids, or build wealth, or worship God? What is your purpose for this relationship? Now, I already knew the answer. I just hadn't considered the implications of it until that moment. The core purpose for our relationship is to grow in our capacity to love. Now, many years ago, I lived with a woman I wanted to love who did not value growing like I did. She seemed to mostly just want an honest man, a cozy home, and healthy kids. She didn't have sincere interest in personal growth workshops, books, retreats, or any such inner-outer adventures, all the things I was a total junkie for. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with what she wanted. I'm actually excited to be creating that homey kind of life with my partner today. And it's also fine that she didn't value personal growth in the same way I did. Countless couples spend a lifetime together without growth as a core aspect of their shared purpose. But nonetheless, because our purposes for the relationship were at painful odds, we kept trying to pull each other in directions the other did not want to go. And the brakes on our bumpy ride heated up as resentments grew and festered. And before long, those brakes went out completely as our grinding attempts to move forward caused us to lose respect for each other, which is when things turned catastrophic for us. Now, some version of this played out in most every relationship throughout my 20s and 30s, though I mostly only thought I hadn't yet found the right woman. The reality is I had no meaningful context or purpose for why I was ever in relationship at all, other than I just want fulfilling and drama-free companionship with a woman on my terms. Ever heard that one? I see some laughter in the ladies. I'm going to read that again. The reality is I had no meaningful context for why I was ever in a relationship at all, other than, I just want fulfilling and drama-free companionship with a woman on my terms, which I have found is the perfect purpose if you want to completely fail at relationship. All relationships will face difficult times. Every couple will experience some hardship together, some gap in understanding, worldview, core values, cultural practice, or some significant external event, perhaps the loss of a loved one, or work, or an addiction, something that will push you both to the edge of your capacity to stay connected. If you don't have a shared purpose for being together, there are endless pressures that can completely derail your intimacy together, even if you physically stay together. A shared purpose can keep your wheels on the track through even the most difficult times. Now, Sylvie and I are deeply bound by our mutual commitment to growing in love together. We're excited to have kids, maybe kids with an S, and all that white picket fence stuff, but it's our commitment to growth that binds us at our core. We both experience our relationship as a beautiful container for the ongoing expansion of our minds, the healing of old internal wounds, and our growing capacity to live authentic and powerful as heart-connected, loving human beings. And our commitment to growth extends to our work, where Sylvie serves other people's desire to grow through her work as a marriage and family therapist, and I serve others as a writer, speaker, a life coach, relationship coach. Our choice to stay together wouldn't be right for everyone. Certainly not if your purpose for a relationship is having an easy, quiet home life and kids, or economic stability, or merely a companion or lover, or mom's approval, or dad's, or God's, or a green card, or whatever else one might hold consciously or otherwise as their purpose for a relationship. And sometimes Sylvie and I wish our only purpose was an easy home life or a green card. For commitment to growth ain't for the timid of heart. Although it does make for the most thrilling roller coaster ride I've ever been on. And that also just continues to get better, more deeply enriching and satisfying as we go. So, if you're in relationship, ask yourself, what is the purpose of my relationship? If you're single, ask yourself, why do I want to be in one? And you can admit it, you totally do. And it's okay if your purpose changes over time. Whatever your purpose for relationship is today, it can be profoundly empowering to know it for yourself and communicate it with clarity and kindness to whomever you're dancing with now or in the future. Otherwise, you might be strapping yourself into a roller coaster that neither of you wants to ride. Thank you. So, what does that bring up for you? What did you resonate with that? I would love to have a dialogue. I would love to have you, can you relate? Have you been with someone who said, I'm all in on the relationship thing? I was that guy that said I was 2 feet in, but the truth is I was definitely, probably mostly 2 feet out. So just what does this bring up for you? I'd love to have a dialogue with y'all. Chelsea, how do we do this?
Yeah, I see Narissa's hand raised. Narissa, do you want to start?
Yeah. I just want to make myself I don't know. Okay, well, first of all, you're an amazing writer.
Thank you.
And hearing that read out loud was really awesome.
Thank
too.
you.
But this is everything, especially because I just realized or learned, specifically worked with Chelsea on finding what my purpose is. And so I never, so I'm just kind of freaking out right now, but I had never thought to align my, I'd never thought to think about having a relationship with someone aligned with that. So I'm just freaking out right now.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing to consider. I'm with you. I no one had asked me that question until I think I was 42. It was 4 years ago. And I look back at relationships past and the one that I shared in there. I mean, I was madly in love with this, as much as a 30-year-old kid could be in love with someone who had so much wounding and so much shit in the way. But we were completely at odds around what we really wanted to experience in life. And, but we never talked about that. It was so obvious. And it caused so much pain to both of us. So painful. So, I'm glad that really resonates. And, one thing that I want to be cautionary about too is, we can make these things very black and white, and they never are. It's I think a lot of times may not even really be able to articulate what our purpose is, and that's okay. We just, we feel a deep calling to something, and sometimes I think that's enough. To just know this is the article that I wrote years ago, choose her every day or leave her.
Mhm.
That article, that in that article, in that essay, I invite people to ask yourself, why am I choosing this relationship? Why am I choosing this person today? And I'm in a relationship 6 years. Do we have some long haulers in the room? Long haul relationshipers in the room? Certainly some of y'all have certainly experienced that. If there are going to be days where it's like, I do not know why I'm choosing this. This is hard. This is supposed to be easier. Why is this? Again, those gaps. Like every couple has those gaps. I've been working with couples for 8 years now, and I think any couple that says they either don't fight or they don't have any differences between them, they're not telling the truth to each other.
Mm.
I'm willing to be wrong about that, but that's
Yeah.
but I'm talking a lot, and I want to make sure that Nerissa, your voice is heard. If there's something that's coming up for you want to share.
Yeah, well, I'm just really excited because I'm like Chelsea, maybe you can describe the process you did with me. It's called an ikado. I think it's Japanese, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a painter, and so I've been an artist since like age 4. And I think around my 20s is when I started getting clearer on like, okay, this is what I do, and this is something that brings me joy, and all of that. And then in the same sort of vein, like just in the last year, I've been more in a place of wholeness. And so I've been like, okay, like I would like to manifest a partner, like I would like to have that.
Mhm.
And I've also been single for 7 years, which is interesting.
Mhm.
But through the exercise, I got really clear on it. Like, and so with the Ikado, it's like you kind of like whittle down to a sentence of what your purpose is.
Mhm.
And it can sound very like, whoa, like what? But when I did it, it was like both huge and small at the same time. And so it was I exist to bring light to density through art. And
Mhm.
so when you just said that, I was like, I can have a boyfriend that likes to do that too. Like,
Well,
what?
may I share what
I've
comes
been
up for
writing
me?
like
Sorry.
I've been writing like smart, confident, like eats healthy, like all these things on my list of like if you're a person going through the process of manifesting a lover, it's like you write all the qualities and stuff. But yeah, this is just like this is very impactful for me right now. Like I'm not even being overzealous, like
Yeah.
I'm literally freaking out.
Can you repeat it for us? Can you say it again?
Oh,
I
it's
exist.
I exist to bring light to density through art. I just
May I,
had to write it down again before because I was like, what is it again?
it's beautiful. I'm a fan. It's beautiful. And I will be fascinated,
Thank you.
Marissa. I will be very fascinated to learn what happens in your future partnership, because
Right?
I will be fascinated, because not that, look, I cannot predict any futures. I would not pretend to. One thing that I see over and over in relationship, I love what you just shared. And I'm gonna put oh, this is so juicy, it's so rich, because here's what's gonna happen. Only because this is what happens in relationship. You're going to, you
Are you
share that you're
scared?
looking for a man. So there's gonna
It
be a
doesn't
man.
necessarily have to be a man, but yeah.
Well, okay, a partner's gonna show up, and they are gonna have density. They are going to carry
Oh,
with them density. They are going to have shadows.
Christ.
They're going to have woundings. They're going to have shit that they don't want you to see or touch. And, and likewise, your own density, your is going to, and, you're going to meet. And in that space, it's such a beautiful sort of purpose statement, because I look at relationship as, I think I saw it in the promotion for this festival, heart work, that word heart work. I can't remember exactly.
Mastering the heart of relationships.
Yes. I love that language of relationship as heart work. We are all heart works in progress. And, through, I think this is one of the great challenges. And I think, look, I'm a man. I identify as a man. So I can't speak for women. And I can't even speak for all men, obviously. I can only speak for me. But I work with men, and what I see overwhelmingly happens and I look more of the again, archetypally than sort of genderly, in the masculine mindset, man, woman, whatever I identify with it, that I want everything to just be easy. I want it to be easy. And, I call it masculine utopia. We should have no problems. That's masculine utopia. No problems here. You're making shit up. Anyone ever heard that? Particularly if you've dated, if you've been with men, have you ever heard a man tell you you're making that up? I've said it. Men, have you ever said that to a partner? That thing you're complaining, it's just, you're making it, it's not real. That's, I think relationship is a container within which, like, there's a lot of density. And I think, so I just want to offer that it's such a beautiful purpose statement. And, you as artwork, your life is an art, and through you being you fully, Narissa, you will be bringing light to density in the relationship. But boy, that process can create a lot of sparks, a lot of flame, a lot of intensity, a lot of which can be beautiful if we learn how to do that dance well. Anyway, I'm very inspired by what you shared. I think it's beautiful, and I'm excited to see for you how that plays out in relationship.
I think just as a cap, like what I'm seeing is like my series of paintings, like my paintings are pretty similar to, like, I guess just to like create a visual, like my paintings are pretty similar to Alex Gray in the sense of like what they evoke and like what they're specifically doing. I paint humans. And so when I'm like receiving you and thinking of this and all that stuff, it's more like, oh, like another artist who is making physical work that is evoking these same emotions, but then reflecting on the second thing that you're seeing, I think I read an article once about women healers and how like we can attract people with wounds and stuff like that. So thank you. I hear what you're saying. But also like I want someone to make art with.
Beautiful. Well, I wish that for you as well. Yeah. What else is in the space? I'm curious if anybody in this space has the idea that like relationships should just be easy. Like we should just get each other. I mean, what's the name? Remind me the name of this festival.
The Heart of Relationships. I think Gigi has a question if you are open to that.
Great. Of course. Absolutely. Please. Okay. Yes.
Amazing.
So it's not so much a question as far as, being able to resonate with what you were saying as far as, what I used to think of how relationships should be. And my point of reference was always similar to what my parents seemed to have, but I saw it through that lens of a Disney kid in the sense that, not necessarily, you don't get to see what happens after the, the end? What happens after the end? What goes on further from that?
What do you
And
mean? It's perfect. What are you talking about? What do you
I
mean?
know.
Perfection. No problems.
So, I mean, when it came to a point of reference for relationships, I always looked to them, but then I never, like, I could tell what was going down in my mind because I'm a kid. I'm watching my parents do this and do that, and they're always having fun doing this, interacting with their friends, making it work, because I come from a military family background and we're always constantly moving, but they seem to find to make it work. It wasn't until I started dating and started figuring out that, oh, this is going to be a shit show because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I never really truly factored in what it was that I really wanted, because I would always say, I just want a nice guy. And I did get the nice guy because I was also a nice girl. But one thing in the discovery of that is that people have different facets, people have layers, and I wasn't exactly ready to delve into those layers. And therefore, all my relationships tended to go. And I basically just felt like, I don't know, what am I going to do? What's going on? How is this working out? And I realized that the reason why these relationships never really came to fruition is because I'm too scared to delve into my own personal layers. Mm-hmm. And finding what I really want, like full on, I would always say, I just want a partner in crime.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Totally get it.
Yeah. But it's more than that.
Well, and I'm seeing a lot of people like, yep, they're meeting you there. I mean, look, I have 3 sisters and 2 mothers. If anyone should be able to do a relationship with a woman well, is me. I had no damn idea what a woman wanted from me in intimacy. I knew how to be a good friend to a woman. I knew how to be a good, I don't know. I knew how to make women feel safe. Because I got sisters. I knew how to be non-sexual with women, sisters. I knew how to respect women, my mothers. I knew how to, the women are amazing. I'm all in on women. Yeah, y'all should run more shit. Well, what men aren't doing so good. That was and yet then I would go into relationships similar to you. I was the good guy. I was the nice guy, and I just want a good woman, whatever the hell that meant. I didn't really know what I meant by that. I just give me a nice disaster after disaster after disaster.
Yep. So, communication was not tops.
I feel you on that so much, Gigi. Truly. Mm-hmm. It's, one of the things I'll sometimes use this in my kind of my fun marketing language, we're learning we need to learn the secrets that should have never been secrets to having good relationships. They shouldn't be secrets. So I'm with you. That's why when I hit 36 and I was just like looking at the rest of my life going, man, I suck at this. All I keep seeing is angry women in front of me. And I mean, well, what's going on? Somebody teach me something. So, are you in a relationship now, Gigi?
Currently, no. Right now, just working on the relationship with myself.
Yeah.
But in finding more facets within myself, because I'm still peeling back layers and finding more shit. I wouldn't object to getting into a relationship due to the fact that no one's perfect. And, me finding, myself and doing all of my work, I'm open to being able to work with and grow with someone else.
Gigi, I was single for 6 years before I met my partner, Sylvie. And, when I met Sylvie, let me tell you, I was good. I was on top of my game. Everything was working. I could see myself I was already writing this book, a lot of the things that were I was golden. I thought I'd seen and learned everything I had to see and learn. I was so in love with me, the wounding work I was doing, all that stuff. And then the real work began when I met Sylvie. That's when the real work began. So, people say you got to love yourself before you can love someone else. I mean, come on, or I'm with you entirely, Gigi. I don't believe that we heal ourselves and then we're ready for a relationship. In fact, there are some things that can only be healed relationally.
Yeah. Because you want someone who's also going to see what you can't see. And that's that, because sure, that person can be a mirror for yourself, but you want it to be able to work so that you both are able to find within each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man, Sylvie and I mean, that's what's so beautiful about our partnership is that, we don't let each other get away with shit that our little wounded child wants to get away with. The parts of me that are not loving, that are narcissistic, selfish, that don't want to grow up. Well, those parts, they're narcissistic and they're selfish and they don't want to grow up. And if I don't have a partner who can kind of meet me in the mirroring of, yo, like I see what you're up to right there, and that's a no for me. Like if I don't have that mirroring, that partner who has boundaries, if I don't have that, those parts of me will run rampant. And I just look into the state of the world today, and I'm just making a big statement right now, but I think women, this is really is the time for women women rise, please, because we need your leadership. We need women saying enough. Men stuck in adolescence, we're not putting up with this anymore. And it's, I am more of a grown-up man because of the women that I have chosen than I am because of just some magic that I did or something that happened to me without their influence.
Yep.
So I honor you, Gigi, for doing your work, and you strike me as I feel courage in your speaking and in your presence, and depth and power and beauty, and I'm in awe of you. Just feel in awe of you in this moment.
I try.
I'm excited for you as well for the king. I'm assuming king that you call into your. And if not, that's cool. Just for the being.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I think Rowinia has a question as well. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi. Because I'm 37 and my relationships haven't worked. And I guess I've gotten to that point where I've been single for 2 years now, and I have been asking myself, why do I want to get into a relationship when my life right now is so good? Like, I don't want to rock the boat. But do you have any advice on how to get some more clarity on understanding what I want in a relationship, what a purpose, like that's where I'm really struggling is like I know I want one, but I don't know why, and I don't know where to get the clarity on, like, is that just something you learn when you meet someone, or is it something that you established in yourself before you met Sylvie?
I find it interesting that your frame through which you're seeing relationship is, that's just going to fuck up my life. Why would I do that to myself? And those are my words, not yours.
No, I know. And that's, I guess, because my relationships have been a fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's stop now and look at why. What's the common denominator? It's me.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of, I went on a pause before I went from relationship to relationship because there has been no purpose. What has been the purpose? Why did I get myself into these relationships when they weren't making me happy? And yeah, it's just such a confusing,
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems so simple, but it's so confusing. Like, you want to share yourself with someone,
Yeah.
but
You know, why would you want to do that? Is what, you know, is it Rowinia? Is that correct?
Yeah.
One thing that I think is beautiful about, you know, the heart of the human is, ah, there's so much love in here that it hurts to not offer it. It hurts. And I think that many women feel that hurt in many ways that a lot of men we can't even relate to. And I don't mean to make this a gender thing. I'm speaking to you specifically because what I'm hearing underneath your why would I do that is a profound longing to do just that.
yes, I guess um like your whole talk on this topic is that if you don't have a a purpose for your relationship or relationship goal, it's not going to work, essentially.
Do you remember what I shared?
Come across. Yeah.
Do you remember what I shared as my purpose for a relationship?
Mhm.
Is to grow in my capacity to love. Me and my partner, we're going through some tough stuff right now. It's not so much between us, like we're good, but there's some contexts that we're dealing with. The pandemic has done a number on us, on our living situation, on where we want to live, like things. Like there's another gap that's opened up between us that's really painful as we're trying to navigate how do we do this? And the thing that has helped us both not just cut and run, because that'd be so much easier in a way, is the clarity that I'm not just here to make more money. I'm not here to just have a successful career. I'm not here to just have a house or blah, 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 blah. I am here to learn how to love. And, you know, I can do that with my mom. I can do that with my friends. I can do that with a dog. I can do that. But doing that in the presence of another human with whom I'm daily faced and have to see my own shit and who has boundaries and, you know, and these gaps open up and we have to figure out how to navigate that. I'll tell you, it is at times really painful to be in relationship and scary. You know, the little ego, the wounded child goes, oh my God, but this is going to happen. That's going to happen. This isn't going to happen. That's not going to happen. But boy, what a spiritual practice. What a heart practice of learning how to navigate these times and show up in love. That is exhilarating, even as it is terrifying.
Yeah, I realize how I sort of had this wee aha moment. Like, it is that simple. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Like,
No.
just to grow in love. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so simple. It
What's
really.
my brain doing? Like, it's just, yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's the thing I want to leave you with is, you know, you don't have to know why you want to be in relationship. And that's what I said that earlier. Like, let's not make this so black and white. Rowinia, it's enough that you want to be in relationship because you want to be in relationship, because you want to love. That's enough. Certainly enough to start, to just take the next step, which I don't know what that means necessarily, but maybe right now it just means, oh, okay, like just accept. I do want that, and that's okay. You don't have to know why you want it right now. You don't need an answer to that. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I know a lot of men. We've done a lot. Especially particularly men, but that we've done a number on women convincing you shouldn't want relationship. Again, I'm speaking in broad strokes here. It's not, nothing's ever this black and white, but I
No, but you're actually right. Like, looking back, it does seem like these days it's like a trend, like, oh no, I don't want the relationship, like I want the connection but not the relationship.
Yeah.
And it is something that you really tiptoe around with people. It's like this weird game you have to play. It's, yeah, the dating scene is weird. Without actually just being open that no, I want the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just really hit me. Sorry.
No, oh, please, no, your tears are so welcome here. Yeah. You're so welcome. There's so much more we could dive into with this, but you know, I've worked with a lot of women who are with, again, in a heterosexual context, who want to get married, and their partner is like, nah, it's just a piece of paper. What I say to, well, if it's just a piece of paper, then fucking sign it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Well, because it ain't just a piece of paper. It means something. You know, and so a lot of when I've worked with women around this, a lot of times it's just so simple as you want to, again, just the simplicity of it. You're allowed to want to be married. You don't need to justify why you want to be married. A lot of men will, you know, you want to play in the domain of logic, and though it's just a piece of paper, it doesn't mean anything. I'm not going anywhere, you know, and they'll say all these things, but they won't sign the paper. So it ain't just a piece of paper, because I can sign any piece of paper. That's easy. So anyway, I don't want to go, you know, spread ourselves too thin. I can see this is really moving you, and I'm.
No, thank you so much. It just, yeah, I feel like I have one of those weird aha moments.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking your questions. Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful. I see a few questions in the chat. I know that Malika had a question that she just messaged. She said, "What is it that makes men want to stay with a woman?"
What is it that makes a man want to stay with a woman? Again, I'm gonna bring this up archetypally rather than necessarily man woman, because you know you can't apply anything to one gender or the other, even one person, or you know. But what I'm going to work with masculine and feminine energies here, and you know the masculine value. Some of you are going to already be familiar with this, but the masculine value is freedom. The feminine value is connection. You know, someone who's really in that kind of pursuit of freedom. You know, masculine freedom. It's the person who helps him feel the most free is the one that he is likely to stay with initially. And see, this is the thing, when I will just use the gender, you know, man, woman for a moment, just for the sake of ease of conversation. If, you know, if it doesn't fit, please throw it away. In the beginning, like a lot of men, oh, relationship's great. I'm so into this. This is fantastic. You know, you're talking to me the way I want to be talked to. You're doing what I want you to do. You're, you know, we're having sex. You're fucking me the way I want to be fucked, and or whatever. Everything's great. You know, I feel alive. I feel free. And then within a few weeks or months, rarely years, it's weeks or months, this starts to emerge. All of a sudden, and I went through this with my partner, Sylvie, all of a sudden, oh, the constriction of relationship sets in. Like, oh, wait a second. She's human. Like, she wants things from me that I don't really want to give. Like, oh, this doesn't feel good. I feel trapped all of a sudden by, she has emotions that I don't get. You know, she gets upset at things that don't make sense to me. Like all of these sort of constrictions start. And again, most men have no concept of what's going on here. And in the swipe right or swipe left, I don't know which way you swipe, but the swipe culture that we have, it's like, it's just too easy to just, well, forget this. This is too hard. Let me go get another one and feel free again. You know, there's a chapter in here titled, the title is something like why a man can leave a relationship over. This is not the title, but it's basically why a man can leave over and over again and come back to a relationship. He can leave and come back, leave and come back. A woman only leaves once. And look, I see Michael's like, he's giving me the 10 fingers. You know, in our masculine, it's like, oh, we come into relationship, we feel the constriction, the bonding of relationship. I mean, that's relationship. It's bonding by its nature. That there's a bonding that happens. In our masculine, it gets it's like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I need to get away. You know, so we run away. Oh man, this is great. I feel free. Oh, thank God, I feel better. But then it's like, well, I'm kind of bored out here. It's like, well, it's cool, but you know, what do I do? Oh, look at her. Boy, she's cute. Let me go back. I can go conquer this again. I can get back in there and do that. So then it comes back in, is like, oh, this is great. And then, oh shit, I can't do this. No, I'm out. Right. And what happens is, again, so it's like that freedom value can be satiated in, you know, and come back, you know, whereas, but if you're more feminine identified and you keep feeling that connection get severed over and over, where you're standing for the connection, you're the, you know, I call it the feelings fighter. Like Sylvia, I'm the freedom fighter of our relationship. She's the feelings fighter. She's fighting for the feelings all the time, to feel connected. I'm a stand for our freedom. It's called choose her every day or leave her. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Thank you. And so, you know, over time, when that connection gets severed, you know, it's like the masculine is like hacking at the connection over and over and over. Well, there comes a day when it's just like, she can't trust in it anymore. It's like she just is done. Does that connect? Does that resonate? Jessica said, this is literally my ex to a T.
I have a question on this.
Yeah.
What if someone asked in here, I tend to date, she's a woman more in her masculine energy, she tends to date more feminine men. So do the roles reverse, or do the men still generally want freedom, whether they're in their masculine more and their feminine more?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's a really great question. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see the reversing of the polarities, and you'll see in an instance like that, he may express a lot more kind of needy energy for connection, and she may be really turned off by that, even though she's wanting it. What I often find, and again, these are just patterns that don't apply to everybody. But what I experienced this. So after the military, I married a French woman who was very ambitious, very direction, very. She had a lot of direction. She was a medical resident, being a doctor, and I was just out of the military. Like I was all up in my feminine. Like I had no direction. I was growing my hair long. I got an earring. I was smoking dope, wandering around Europe with a backpack. Like I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. And we were perfect for each other, and we hated each other. Like we loved each other and hated each other because I needed her direction and she needed my flowiness. But we almost never had sex because the attraction, like in the core of it, I was so needy. I would literally wait at home. Like she would go to work and I'd wait with the dogs, you know, and she'd come home at the end of the day and it'd be like with her dogs. We were living in Bordeaux, France, and finally like waiting for her at the window. Like, is she home yet? I was so needing connection. I was so lost and I didn't know where to go anyway. So I was relying on her for connection, and it was such a turnoff for her. It was such a turnoff for her. And the truth is, she was such a turnoff for me. I was so pissed all the time. So yeah, it's not a gender thing. It's an energy thing. It's a, you know, this is the dance of intimacy, regardless of sex, is the dance of masculine and feminine energies. And we can trade them back and forth. We can, you know, two people can be really rooted in these polar opposites. But, you know, my relationship today with Sylvie, you know, there are days where I'm exhausted from kind of holding space for people. And I just want to fucking flow, you know, have a beer, feel soft, and have her open the door for me sometimes. You know, sometimes, you know, 95 out of 100 times I'm opening the door for her. But sometimes it's like, I don't want to get the door. Can you just get the door for me? You know, and we play with these things, you know, yeah, I don't know if I'm answering the question anymore, but is that helpful? Whoever it's, I think, was it Jessica?
Yeah, I think that was Kayla's question. Maybe Kayla, if you want to unmute or type it in the chat.
I'm dead.
It's clear to me.
I didn't really have a question. It was more of just like a point because that I every time I've only been into like long-term serious relationships, and literally what you were just describing about your relationship in France was my past relationship. Like my partner was super needy and very like emotional and all those sorts of things, and that made me completely shut down. So that's just interesting to hear that.
Yeah. To me, this is not about, it's not like you're supposed to be this and he's supposed to be that, or to me, it's just about getting awareness that these dynamics are at play, and then learning how to dance with them, learning to be conscious. I mean, that to bring, what's in the shadow into the light so that we can, there was someone said something here earlier about, there's this common trope that, relationships are easy. We make it hard. I don't believe that. Relationships are fucking hard. What I think our work is how do we learn to dance with the, I'll often tell couples, it's not the tensions or differences between you that are your problem. It's that you're constantly trying to make those differences and tensions go away that is the problem. When we can learn to be with these differences, be with these tensions, and navigate them, that's when relationship gets really juicy and fun and ever evolving. Right? It's not about one of you have to play this role and that role and putting us into fixed positions, or all this stuff's messy. It's like, can we bring it into the light so that we can work with it? Is that helpful?
Yes, that's so beautiful. We are getting to the top of the hour, and we do have to transition to the next facilitation. This was our last official speaker of the night. We have two more things tonight. We have an embodiment, 5 elements, 5 rhythm stance, and then we have medicine music tonight. So, Bryan, thank you so much for coming to speak with Emergence Festival. Can we all take ourselves off mute and rub our hands together and give Bryan some love? Thank you. Ashta hair.
This is great talk.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. Have fun dancing. And the link to the book is in the chat. But have fun dancing. By the way, if you can see in the camera, that's my lady right there.
Oh,
That's her. She's upstairs. We're gonna go have a nice, gentle evening with ourselves. Thank you. It's been an honor, a privilege. Thank you all for your amazing questions. I appreciate you, and have a beautiful evening. Thank you, Chelsea.
thank you. Amazing. Oh.